Freedom Guy 55 here again. I wanted to talk to you about a video game I just played. It's called Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. It's actually a pretty good game for a Spider-Man game. I mean, it's one I would actually recommend it to be one of the best. The story kind of starts like this, where you're in a museum. And Mysterio, who's this master of illusion, he's the guy with the fishbowl on his head. Basically, he has a mask that's an orb, like a silver orb or whatnot, and he pretty much dispenses illusions to Spider-Man in order to distract them so he can either get away or attack him. Well, anyway, he winds up trying to get this artifact. This tablet or whatnot that has power, and Spider-Man in the struggle, Spider-Man comes in, and in the struggle, he winds up breaking the tablet into pieces. Well, Mysterio escapes, and Madam Web comes in, which is like this mystic who tries to restore balance or whatnot. Anyway, she winds up telling him that he shattered the tablet. Well, apparently he shattered it through three other dimensions, actually. And this tablet is supposed to have like a tremendous power, and it gives the bearer of the tablet so much tremendous power, and he shattered it into pieces. So anybody who holds it's going to have a lot of power if it falls into the wrong hands. So he has to find the tablets as well as all these three other Spider-Men that are in these other dimensions where the tablet had shattered into. Well, anyway, these three other Spider-Men are actually Spider-Men from different particular comic book series that had come out since 1992. They have all ended, but they're basically back for this kind of video game. One of which was the one in 1992 was called 2099, Spider-Man of 2099, where this scientist was given this drug by this evil corporation, mainly. Anyway, called Alchemax, and it didn't want, and they planned on it to kill him, but it didn't kill him. It made him into Spider-Man, so to speak. Well, anyway, that episode ended about like after 40 some odd issues, and you get to play him, and the set design of that is just pretty spectacular. Actually, all set designs in Spider-Man are really in the Spider-Man game are pretty spectacular. They're really good. Anyway, then of course, then you also play Ultimate Spider-Man, which came out in the year 2000 and ended in 2009. And it's basically about this Spider-Man in kind of an alternate way or a different way. Basically, Marvel thought that Spider-Man had too much backstory, and that many people who came in who were new that were going to read Spider-Man were going to be lost. So they wound up creating this Ultimate Spider-Man to modernize Spider-Man and to attract new readers. Anyway, it ended in 2009, just last year. And then another series of Spider-Man that they use, which is in the game, which is the Noir one. Marvel came out with a Noir series. Ultimate series. They came out with also other Ultimate characters, such as like Fantastic Four and I think X-Men or something. I don't know. They came out with several Ultimate titles. Well, they did the same thing with the Noir series. They came out with other titles like X-Men and such, and even Spider-Man. And you wind up playing the Noir Spider-Man in this video game. And that kind of actually took away the spider powers and took away actually the powers of these characters, and then just worked on their actual character. That's all it was. Anyway, so you play the Spider-Man in the Noir as well. And the gameplay is pretty good. It's in third person for the most part. There are times where you actually have to fight the villains up close in in first person, and where you kind of have to punch them and whatnot, and then have a different combination and dodge their hits. And it's pretty cool when you do that. But most part, it's third person, and the Amazing Spider-Man kind of plays regular. You just beat up a bunch of bad guys and whatnot. And in the Ultimate Spider-Man, you actually Madam Web gives him the symbiote. I guess in the movie or in the video game, you have to kind of tell the Ultimate one apart from the really Amazing Spider-Man, and you can't quite do that without him donning on the symbiote. So Madam Web gives him the symbiote. And he winds up can go into rage mode. If he winds up building his rage mode with fighting as much bad guys and whatnot, he can actually go into this kind of mode where he fights all the bad guys. Well, anyway, there's that, and then there's the 2099 Spider-Man has kind of an accelerator mode or whatnot, where he can actually slow down time and beat the bad guys there. And then, of course, and in Noir, it's pretty much a ripoff of Batman Arkham Asylum, where you stay into the shadows and you try to take down your opponents from behind, basically, or from up above. Anyway, the interesting thing is that in this, you build up this thing called Spider Essence, where as much bad guys as you get, you build up this kind of Spider Essence, and you also have to defeat certain particular types of challenges, or when you defeat a level, you get this kind of Spider Essence. And once you do that, once you build this up, you wind up being able to unlock certain, or buy certain different moves, combinations, or even health, or even extending your health and such with the Spider Essence. So you can kind of constantly upgrade. So it's pretty cool in that. Anyway, the voice talents in this video game are recognizable, actually. There are 4 different recognizable characters if you know kind of Spider-Man from the animated genre, or if pretty much movies mainly. There's one character of which is the Scorpion the Scorpion of 2099. The character's voice is actually played by John Kasser, who played the Crypt Keeper, or at least who voiced the Crypt Keeper. And then, of course, you have the voice of the Electro in the Ultimate Spider-Man universe is actually played by Thomas F. Wilson, and he's busting out his Biff voice. Actually, it's his Biff voice, which, of course, Thomas F. Wilson played Biff in the Back to the Future series. And then, of course, there's the Spider-Man the voice of Spider-Man in the Noir in the video game is actually played by Christopher Daniel Barnes, who actually played the Spider-Man in the animated series in the 90s. Was on Saturday television and whatnot. Anyway, and it was a pretty good series if you want to see it. They have some on DVD. And then, of course, you have the one that played Spider-Man the regular Spider-Man in the Amazing Universe, which is actually played by Neil Patrick Harris. You might know Neil Patrick Harris from How I Met My Mother recently, of course, and of course he played him kind of a comedic version of himself in Harold and Kumar, and he played Doogie Howser, of course, and of course he also played, if you wanted to know, in Starship Troopers. But anyway, he plays the Amazing Spider-Man, and it's not his first time playing Amazing Spider-Man. Actually, he played Spider-Man in... I'm not sure if he played Spider-Man in in any video game, but he actually played Spider-Man in a short-lived television series that was by MTV. So I thought that was interesting, if you wanted to know. It's called Spider-Man: The New Adventures. Anyway, it is a pretty good series, and I recommend you to see it. Anyway, there was also something funny that actually happened to me when I was playing the video game. It was actually at the end. When I was playing The Amazing Spider-Man, and I was playing Mysterio, the actual last stage, I swung too far away from the platform I was supposed to go on, and I went on the platform that was close to him, and the camera actually tilted down underneath Mysterio. So I couldn't do anything. I was like, I didn't know what the hell I needed to do. So I just fell off the platform and then just decided to, die and, get back to where I was. Well, the interesting thing is I didn't die. I kept on falling and falling and falling until this little until the platforms became so tiny and Mysterio became so tiny that I just went, oh, screw it, I'm going to the bathroom. So I just went to the bathroom and waited until the computer or whatnot, or the game, just allowed me to die. The problem is that I was in the bathroom at the time when it did, and it came back to the place, and I went, oh, crap, and I had to go back to it. But it was actually pretty funny for what happened to me. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I do recommend this game, and I think that you'll have a good time playing it. The dialogue is actually pretty funny, and you'll just have the desire to continue to beat it. And I think that's pretty much it. So play the video game, and I thank you for your time, and have a nice day.